Hi, Billy Dillard from BillyDillardArt. Today I'm going to show you how to mix Armor Coat. It's really great if you need to create a hard shell over your styrofoam or other products that are really soft and you need that hard shell with a lot of tensile strength that you can build on. This is a great product for that. Polygem makes this product. This particular one is a 1-to-1 mix. You got your A and you got your B. It's really easy to mix. If you want to thicken it, which in my case I certainly do use their thickener because I like to get a little bit more viscosity to the product when I'm using it for what I do. So I use Polygem's thickener. And so let's get started with this. Oh, make sure you got your safety equipment. So I got my gloves, I got my dust mask for the thickener, simply because I just don't want to be inhaling that. And got my stir sticks. Got my cups where I can make sure I got an equal amount of A in it and an equal amount of B. So we'll get started mixing it, and then I'll show you a couple of techniques that I use when I'm applying it. Okay. So here we go. Use this one here. This is a brand new batch. We'll get started here. Good thing I got gloves on, eh? Oh, and when you're mixing this product, do not, let's say you're over in the B product with this stick. Don't use the same stick in A and put it in your A container, because then you just contaminated the batch of A. So make sure you don't do that. So you got a stick for A, stick for B, and you do not interchange them. So right here, I want to kind of get a good idea. I'll tell you what. We're going to go ahead and we'll just leave it at this point right here. This is another thing I like about their products. If you're a little bit off, it's still going to cure out. It's not real finicky like some other products I've used, where if you're just a little bit off on your A and B, you got problems. That's not the case with this product. You can be a little off with either one. It'll still activate for you. So we got our B out of the way. Now we need to get the same amount of A. So let's see what we got here. Now this one here, I'm going to go ahead. It's pretty easy to stir up, so I'll go ahead and stir it a little bit. Hey Ellie, you got anything we could dip into this where it's not going to want to spill and be messy?
Right there, right in front of you. See the measuring spoons? There's measuring cups. Take those out.
Yeah, this will work great. Once I get this, I mean the can is really full. Once I get it down a little bit, then I could tip it up and pour it out, which would be easier. But for now, we'll just do it this way. Okay. Now once I get this down a little bit, then I could just go ahead and pour it directly out of the can. Okay, let's see where we're at. Okay, right here, you can look across this one to that one, see if you can see that. And I'm pretty much right on the money right there, so I don't need to go any further with that. So we'll just stick that in right there for now. And here, let that drain. Now depending on the project you're working on, you can just mix the A and the B and then just brush it on or pour it on whichever way you want. But like I say, I usually add a little bit of thickener in it simply because I like to build up my millage quicker. So by doing that, it's not as thin and it'll stay where you put it. It doesn't want to level out by doing that, and that's one of the big reasons I do it, because I want to pour it on. I want to be able to brush it on there, and it doesn't want to level that way, which is what I'm after. Okay, right here, I'm making sure I get everything out of this cup here, my A mix, because I don't want to waste any, and I don't want to change my mix too much. Alright, so now I'll get here's the B. We'll get the B out of here. And if you're wondering, why did he do it like this? Why did he use 3 cups instead of just 2? Okay, so I wanted to be able to measure my A and B and know exactly how much I had, and then I just needed a bigger container to mix the 2 together. That's why I did it like this. I really don't like guessing. And these paint cups, they got the exact measurements on it. It makes life pretty easy for you. Now I'm going to be mixing these by hand instead of using a mechanical mixer. It's just the way I do it. So what I'm showing you today is the way I do it. I'm not going to say there's not another way you can do it, but this way works for me. And when you notice B was kind of thick when I was dipping it out of the can. And when you start mixing A and B together, it will start getting a lot thinner. As you'll be able to see in just a minute. Now right here, if you had a paddle on a drill, I mean, you could certainly mix it up that way if you wanted to. But small batch like this here, for me, it's not a big deal just to hand mix it. And I make sure that I scrape the sides really good. Make sure that any that's on the stick, that I get that mixed also. And don't forget about the mix on the bottom. You want to make sure that you scrape everything off the bottom and mix this up thoroughly. And if I'm going to add thickener, I don't put the thickener in until I've mixed the A and the B together. Because if you do that, if you put the thickener in before you mix A and B together, you're actually you're taking a big chance of changing the ratio of either A or B, and you're not getting the mix correctly, which could interfere with it curing out. So always mix A and B first, and then if you want to thicken it, then you can, and just add a little thickener at a time until you get what you want. Now see how runny that is for what we're doing today, which I'll show you in a minute. It's a project Ellie and I are working on. It's Ellie's project, but I'm just using this opportunity to show you how to mix this stuff. But she's got a great project to be able to show you this. Now if we were to do it on what she's working on right now, it would just run right off. So we need it to kind of stay where we put it. So that's a good opportunity for the thickener. So here we go. Make sure you're wearing a dust mask. And you just take a little bit. Just kind of like mix it a little bit at a time till you get what you want. It mixes fairly easy, really. I really love Polygen's thickener. You can use it in the Armor Coat. You can use it in their 307 light epoxies. It works great. Okay, you test it. It's still a little bit too runny. Put more thickener in, and just do this till you get it where you want it. And after you use it a little bit, you'll be able to judge for the particular project you're working on if you need more or less thickener. Now for me, I'm working on a project. I'll actually use this product and I'll use it like it was a glue. So I'll mix A and the B together, and then I'll add some thickener in it, and I'll glue my 2 parts together with this product. Okay, let's see what we got. I just want to stress the fact that this is the way I'm using their product, and I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, but it works for me. See, it's still pretty runny, so we'll add some more. I just do it gradually like this because if I get in too big a hurry and put too much thickener in it, then all of a sudden trying to brush it on can get to be an issue. Let's see what we got now. We're getting closer. Kind of like bacon. Not the kind you eat. Not bacon, but baking. Alright. Just keep that up. Kind of like the way my mom was cooking. I'd say, well, Mom, how much did you put into that? She goes, well, I just did a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Oh, okay. All right. My camera lady's getting dusted out back there. Let's see. This is starting to getting better. We're getting closer, but we need a little bit more. Ooh, that was a big handful. That'll probably do it right there. Now, hey, if I was doing a project where I just needed a really thin, strong, hard shell, and it was going to self-level, then I wouldn't put thickener in it. I would just mix the A and the B and go ahead and apply it and let it level out. But as you'll see in a moment, with what we're doing today, that's not the case. We need it to kind of stay where we put it. A little bit more. Hey Ellie, could you do me a favor and grab one of those pedals and bring it over here? Yeah, you can just let the camera go. Okay, this is pretty close to what we're after. Okay, see there, that's for me, that's right where I want it. Okay, another little trick, when it's in a small bucket like this here, contained, it'll create heat. It'll start curing quicker. So if you want more working time, if you got a plastic tray that you can pour this mix out into where it's thinner, it'll slow down the curing time, which gives you more working time. So anyway, so you see the viscosity of that there. Now we can put it where we want it and it stays there. Now here's something else I really liked about this product. I can come back in like 2 hours, and if I don't like those real hard ridges there, I can take, with my gloves on, a little bit of water on my fingers. I can rub those and pretty much flatten them out. Alrighty. But you see here, you can put it where you want it. I've got some millage here because I was wanting some millage to make it even stronger. This is to be the one side. Now once it cures, we'll flip it over and do the other side. And like these ridges here, I'll just come back in an hour, hour and a half, up to 2 hours with some water on my gloves and just rub and flatten those out. So here's one right there. And then we do the back side. All right, so what I did today is I showed you how to mix the product A to B. I showed you how to use some thickener if you want. And I showed you why I use the thickener, because I want the material to stay here and not flatten out and run off. So that gives you a couple different ways. There's certainly more ways to use it. I mentioned how you can use it for a glue. By this mix here, you could glue 2 pieces together or whatever it might be you're going to use it on. With a thickness, it'll fill voids for you. So anyway, I hope that helps you out. Let me know if you got any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer. All right, later.